Bum, 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 bum. Bum, bum. Hey everybody, come on in. Come on in. Can you smell the coffee brewing? I think you can. Yeah, we're so accustomed to having the simultaneous sip that you can almost taste it minutes before it happens. It is so good. And what do you do to enjoy the simultaneous sip? Well, you don't just sit there. No, you don't just watch it happen. No, that would be wrong. You join in. It's called the simultaneous sip, and all you need is a cup or mug or a glass, a tank or chalice or stein, a canteen, jar or flask, a vessel of any kind. Fill it with your favorite liquid. I like coffee. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the simultaneous sip. Are you ready? Are you ready for this? You better be ready. Go. Yeah, now if you enjoyed that live, you know what the feeling is, don't you? Yeah, you do. Savor it. Savor it. Okay, now we can move on. Gotta stop and smell the coffee. That's just good advice. Well, yesterday there was a big national event, something called a Super Bowl. Have I ever told you before that one way to predict the future is that the best story almost always wins? Not every time, but the best story usually wins. Who was the best story for the Super Bowl? Tom Brady was the best story because he left a dominating team. They decided that they didn't need him anymore. He was too old for them, and so they let him go. What would you want to do if you had just been the greatest quarterback ever and you had just been let go from your team while being still a winning quarterback because you were too old? What would you really, really like to do in that situation? Well, what you would like to do is win another Super Bowl with a different team. Because if you do that, what does that tell your old coach? Tells you it wasn't about him, was it? What's it tell your old team? Well, kind of says it wasn't about them, was it? Maybe all those Super Bowls weren't because you used to have a good coach. Maybe the Super Bowls were because of you. So I can't imagine anything that would be more fun than being Tom Brady this morning. Can you? I mean, what would be more fun than not only winning the Super Bowl yet again, seventh one, I doubt anybody will ever match that, and also rubbing it in the face of all the people who said you were too old. Guess I don't need that coach. Guess I don't need that good team that was behind me. Now, I'm not what you'd call a sports fan. I'll say some bad things about sports later. But I had a little thing I was trying to do, just sort of a mental experiment, and it went like this. I wanted to see if I could get all the way through Super Bowl week, or the 2 weeks before Super Bowl, and all the way through the game, and all the way to today, without once knowing the name of the quarterback who was opposing Tom Brady. And I still don't know it. I actually don't know the name of the other quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Can anybody tell me the name of the quarterback? Who was the other guy? Don't even know his name. Patrick Mahomes, somebody saying? I don't know. Okay, I guess that's the name of an athlete, Patrick Mahomes. Well, Patrick Mahomes did not get a lot of attention relative to Tom Brady yesterday. How would you like to play in the Super Bowl and people don't even know your name? Right. I guess a lot of people did know his name, the ones who actually watched the Super Bowl. There were a lot of jokes that came after the Super Bowl, including Brett Weinstein, who said in a tweet, "How long before the courts rule on who actually won the Super Bowl?" Now, that was a good tweet and a good joke, but not as good as all of the comments on this tweet. So Go look for that in either Brett Weinstein's feed or in mine. I retweeted him yesterday or today. And you should see all the other funny comments. It turns out this was a really good straight line, or at least the situation was a good straight line for lots of good jokes. All right. Now, do you believe my theory about the best story usually wins? And Tom Brady was the best story. So even though he was not favored in terms of the specifics of the betting odds of these games, he had the best story. So now, remember I first used this theory when President Trump ran for office in 2016. He was the best story, by far. Him winning was the best story. But when he ran for re-election, what was the best story? It really wasn't Trump wins another election, because that would have been sort of expected. So that's not the best story. You expect incumbents to win. The best story would be running somebody who's clearly mentally defective while you're really trying to put in office the vice president who's too progressive, according to a lot of people. That's a good story, right? If you compare those two stories of Trump just wins again, and you get more of the same, or the brain-dead dementia guy who's being really backed by the real president, I mean, it's not even close. One of them is the good story. So watch how often that predicts. There's no reason for that, by the way, at least that I can think of. Now, the best reason might be that because our minds are so tuned to stories from movies and books and all the fiction that we consume, that we kind of guide ourselves subconsciously toward the best story. So maybe even the players on the field with Tom Brady, even the other team, knew that the best story was them losing, right? So it could be that we're just too biased toward the best story that we make it happen without even knowing that we're consciously making any choices. Maybe. Or it's just a coincidental thing that I think I'm noticing, but I'm not. That's possible. Join me now for the unparalleled pleasure, the dopamine hit of the day, the thing that makes everything better. It's called the Simultaneous Sip. Go.